I've given threesomes in the past to men that I've been with without a problem, and I had no feeling or emotion attached to it. But the guy that I'm currently with right now, in the beginning of our relationship, like the first month, I was like, oh, I want to see you, girl, whatever. And because I always felt like it was like two sides. One part of it was like, I want to see a guy, I want to see him do it so that if he was to ever cheat on me, I'm numb to it. Oh, that's what it looks like. It's not like a big deal. You know, that was like always like a part of it for me.
He's into watching.
So like if it ever happened and I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. I know what it looks like. But the current guy that I'm with now, in the beginning, like the first month, I used to talk my and tell him that. But now I would never, like, I don't even want him to look another way, you know? And this is the first guy that I've ever felt like that with. Like,
what the hell did you just say?
I don't really know if this is my last time, but what I know is I'm feeling just fine. My life is like a rap carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving, man. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail, but more importantly, you saw that clip. And the reason why we got to talk about this is because a lot of times when we had these relationship discussions, and people used to like, I'm glad people don't use toxic trauma no more. I'm glad that phase is over. But we didn't talk a lot about people creating toxic relationships or traumatic relationships. And part of that is what this young woman was talking about, where she wanted to, get accustomed to getting cheated on because that's how she felt like it was going to happen. So let's just go ahead and get it out the way and make me used to it. And then, but now I like you, and I don't want that now. And here's the issue. When your approach is wrong and your intentions are wrong, and then you figure out something is a good thing, and now I don't want that. The problem becomes you introduced the toxicity. Not saying that the guy's gonna ask for that, but what I'm saying is some of y'all have stereotyped men to be a certain way. So instead of dealing with if your stereotype is true, since we're gonna use one of them other words, you manifested drama, you manifested trauma, you manifested toxicity. That's what you did. And then if it comes to pass, then you go, this is not what I wanted, but that's not true. Now, the other thing is, there's a part of the sexual dating market that overindulges in sex. And, sex is the end all be all in the sense of sex could bring you together, sex could fix your problems, sex could distract you so you don't have to deal with certain things. And sex could be the end of your relationship. So when that's the case, you really don't have a relationship, whether you like it or not. What you have is what y'all like to call, hookup culture, situationship, sneaky links, whatever. It's just your only interaction is sexual. And then you get mad because you're looking for something more soulmate related. And you don't know how to do that, because what you know how to do is put sex on the table and keep sex on the table, and not know how to live if sex isn't on the table. So now when people go, hey man, this is what we do, you go, but I'm more than that. We're more than this. And it's like, no, we're not. And no, you're not. So now you got to work your way out of that. Thus, part of that, you did all of this stuff with these guys, but now you want to turn over a new leaf, and now you're this type of woman with this guy. It's kind of, it's suspect. It's unrealistic. It's not just unfair. It's unrealistic. Because what you're saying is, I've been, for lack of a better term, I've been a bad person with all these other people, and I enjoyed it. But now, I'm gonna be a good person with you, and I'm gonna hold you to standards that I don't hold myself to. And people look at it with a side eye, because it doesn't make sense. So ultimately, what winds up happening over time is my dog. What winds up happening over time is your relationships are reactionary to whatever phase you're going through, whatever stereotype you got in your head, whatever the new trend is with relationships. So you're really not dealing with people, you're dealing with those things. So you're not interacting with the person. They're not primary, they're secondary. I'm gonna interact with this stereotype and then I'm gonna put that on you. I'm gonna interact, with this trend and then I'm gonna interact with you. I'm gonna interact with my desires and then I'm gonna interact with you. And then when all those things change, I'm gonna try to make you the first thing instead of the second thing. And it don't work out because people start looking at you like you're crazy because it goes to that biblical term, about being double-minded, where you think you can be a good girl and a bad girl. You think you can be a wife and a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? You think you can be drama and peace. And it's like, even if you could, people wouldn't want that. You know what I'm saying? Because you hopping in and out of function to dysfunction at will. And somebody else has to deal with that. And that's not something that somebody wants to deal with. They don't want to go from crazy to happy. You know what I'm saying? To drama, to peace, and all that break up the makeup stuff. It gets old, it gets annoying. So when you start saying, you know what, yeah, I'm cool with you being with other women, and then you go, no, I'm not. And the guy's like, what kind? Is this a setup? And sometimes, and I'm gonna say it this way. Sometimes people create those scenarios because they're looking for an out. I'm cool with you being with other women because I might not be satisfied by you anyways, or I might be looking for the door anyways. Like what you see a lot in social media, you've seen a lot in social media where predominantly women have a backup plan, an exit strategy. And this type of stuff is in the ballpark of that too. And then you find out, well, I don't want an exit strategy with this one. But you didn't already put your exit strategy at the forefront. And you can't take it back after that. So to me, this is a recipe for disaster. And people don't get how this is going to follow you as you get older. But I'm going to leave it at that. You tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, know I gave you everything I had.